Hi folks. So the last video was talking about Ephesians 2:8 and saying, well, you have to question everything, so maybe that is wrong because it says you're saved by grace and it didn't, you didn't work. It's not about your works, it's about grace. Okay, but maybe that's wrong. So you have to question, why do people go to hell? Because maybe that's the opposite. Okay. So, in the last few years, God has been talking to me about what you're of. If you are of God, and if you're of the world, basically, of the world means of the devil, so therefore you can. Truth is of the devil, so therefore, if you're of God or of the devil, so therefore, okay. The problem is, how are you of the devil, and how are you of God? Yeah. It's, yeah. Well, and who did the works for that? Because again, that's the point. I mean, from my understanding in my own personal walk over the last 3 years is that I've always said God did it. I've always understood that God has done it. I didn't. However, are there things that I did? Because when it says you're saved by grace and not of good works, okay. Well, being of the world means, well, right now, the world, yeah. When you look at the world, you can see completely what it means to be of the devil and of the world. You can see, safe place, being comfortable, with no issues, no offending, that sort of crap. That's of the devil. It's lies. It's judging people. So therefore, when someone says something, like the River Church, when I ask the question, why are you singing songs that are saying we only trust Jesus? When he said you're supposed to be worshipping the Father, praying to the Father, and giving all the glory to the Father. You're saying it's all about Jesus. He said it's not. Right? When you ask that question, why are you doing that? When he said it's not. And they ban you because, someone got offended. And they cancel you for that. Yeah. Again, if it's a bloody church doing that, what should that pastor, Jeff Oakes, what should he have done? As soon as someone said, he said that, right? First of all, he should go to me and say to me, what did you say to that person? And when I say what I said, well, the Lord said this and that and this, but what you're doing is the opposite. He should go to the Bible and see what the Lord actually said, shouldn't he? Did they? No, because they don't care about that at all. Not at all. They don't give a crap about it. Not at all. They really could not care less about any of that in any way, shape or form. And it's... But this is the point. That they care about people liking them rather than caring about helping people. They don't love God. They don't love people. They love themselves. And what they want is people saying they're so good, they're so amazing. And like Jeff Oakes, he wanted people to say, would you be my spiritual father? Again, as soon as someone says, can you be my spiritual father? Look at Matthew 6, verse 9 and 10. What does it says? Our Father in heaven. Our Father in heaven. How the bloody hell can you say yes to someone saying, can you be my spiritual father? Because you want to please people. You don't want to please God, you want to please people. Because again, you want people to pat you on the back saying, oh, well done, good job. I really love you because you make everything safe and we won't be offended. And it's so easy going to church, and you're saying just going to church means we go to heaven. Hey, wonderful. We love you for that. But actually that person, that Jeff Oakes or anyone like him, is leading you to hell. And that's why I've done videos saying, problem is, folks, is that when you do go to hell, when that pastor goes to hell, the people who he was leading will attack him. And not just him, but his wife and his family. Any part of his family that are with him, those people from that church will absolutely hate. Absolutely hate. They will tear those people's arms off. They will be raping them and doing the worst things they can. Imagine in hell, if you really, really hate someone, what would you be doing to them? To torture them. That's exactly what they will be doing to people like him. The reason is, again, is because people think in hell it would be the demons torturing you. No, it won't. It won't. That is not their blinking job. They won't be torturing anyone. They will be tortured themselves by their own mind. Will torture them. Because they left God. And they know that. So they will be tortured themselves. But yeah, truth. If you hate truth, you're of the devil. If you love truth and you don't care if people don't like you, if people are going to ban you because you love truth and you don't care, then okay. But if you hate truth because you know that people love you because you don't talk truth to them that could offend them, that you lie to them because they prefer lies, that, if someone is preaching and they say crap, things that are not true, and after they finish, you say, well done, that was absolutely brilliant. Oh, well done. That's a lie. But the person will love that lie, but it's a lie. If you say to that person, did you actually go to God about that? Because what you said is not in the Word of God. And your understanding of God is you have to go to God about this. Or you will offend that person, and you will offend people around that person, yeah? And they will hate you. The other people who hear you, who've been saying, well done, they will hate you because they know what you said was true, but they didn't say it because they haven't got the balls to actually say it. Because they care more about the relationship than they do about where that person is going. Because they blinking well do. They don't care if that person is going to hell. Because they don't actually have a relationship with God. They don't care. The reason why I was so offended on that blinking day when Jeff Oakes was going to America to get his wife back from the op, and he let that old man talk, and what he said was complete crap, and people were saying well done, it's because I know that old man now thinks what he said is right, and now no one can tell him he's wrong, even though he's wrong, and his understanding of God is completely wrong. Because he said basically God was wrong. Jeff Oakes said, but what he meant was, I don't care. If you say that what he meant that. No, he didn't. What he said is exactly what he meant. He knew what he was saying. He had time to practice and prepare. He knew exactly what he was saying, and he meant it. He thought, like the people, when the Queen died, the people in that church, they were saying the church doesn't have a head now. Because they thought the Queen was the head of the church. Which, read the Bible. Read your word. This wasn't supposed to be a video, talking about the River Church, but, when you're asking the question, why do people go to hell, then, And again, it's bloody annoying when you see churches that are banning people because they ask a question. And, they're doing exactly what colleges are doing. They're cancelling people because people get offended. And, excuse me, for all time people have been offended. When I was young, we got offended. But we got on with it. Right? Right now, because the young people for the last, 10 years have been so bloody weak. And you can blame the parents for that. You can blame society for that. It doesn't matter. You can blame the church for that. Because obviously the church should be actually telling people, deal with your kids properly. Teach them. But they won't. So, because again, if you're telling parents to actually deal with your kids and teach them, then people get offended by that and they won't like you. So again, as I said before, I've said a lot of times in videos, if you want a pastor who doesn't care if they offend, don't get a pastor from a different country. No. Don't get someone from another country because they know that if they offend people in the church, they could be sacked, and if they're sacked, what are they going to do? That's to go back to their country. If that pastor lives in the same blinking street, and he's always lived in the same street as that church, he won't care if he's banned. If the church sacks him, he won't care. Because he's still got his house, he's still got the people in the area. He doesn't have to go back to his home. He won't care. So therefore, maybe he will actually help people more because he hasn't got that sort of fear that pastors from different countries will have about being sacked. Most of the pastors are from America, from Africa, from Spain, from Germany, from wherever, but not from the country where the blinking church is. It's like, excuse me, why do you think people from a different country could help that church and that area more than people actually from that area? It's blinking stupid, of course. But because that person has been to a Bible college and that sort of thing, and they've got a letter saying that they are actually a pastor, even though they're not. But because the college said that they are actually a pastor, that's good enough. You know? That's what we want, really, is that crap. Sod that. No. No. It's blinking nonsense, isn't it? So no. So there you go. I'm going to leave it to it. Yeah. But there's so much more to it. But as I say, I've done videos talking about this for a long time. Because it matters. It's about what you're of. And that shows what you're of, doesn't it, really? Yeah. So there you go. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.